Hey, this is Nikki G and welcome to Better Commander. Let's start the year off strong with a strong lady. We're going to talk about 7 reasons to try Samut, Vizier of Naktamun. Heck yeah, man, let's start the year off right. We're going to talk about Samut. Could be Samut. I don't know, dude. 5'8", tall young woman with brown hair and brown eyes, just like Nikki G. Pretty much my description as well, but I'm a man, baby. Samut's got some sweet lore, but I'm not going to go into the whole thing. She was a former Planeswalker, lost her spark in the desparkening, which is a real thing, I guess. Samut has, like, speed powers, man. She gets some of that 1985 speed. She scoots around on the joint making stuff happen. Now, back in the old days, I wanted to build the budget equipment deck for my own personal use, and that was built around Samut, Voice of Dissent. 3 red and a green for a legendary creature, human warrior. It's a 3/4 with flash, double strike, vigilance, and haste. Other creatures you control have haste, has white and tap, untap another target creature. Nice looking card, man. Got the character front and center with that sweet action pose. She's hollering at some idiot, you know, who's about to get decapitated. This was a fun budget equipment deck that utilized Samut's native double strike to blast in for big damage. I don't know if it's Samut or Samut, dude. Samut just got an Inigo Montoya reskin, which frankly just boggles my mind. Also a pretty nice looking card. And then in the intervening years, she had some Planeswalker adventures, you know. She had some Planeswalker cards, but they aren't really relevant to this conversation. Nah, man, today we're going to be talking about Samut, Vizier of Naktamun. 1 red and a green for a legendary creature, human warrior cleric. It's a 2/3 with first strike, vigilance, and haste. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, if that creature entered the battlefield this turn, draw a card. This card is pretty nuts as a commander, and that's where we're centering our conversation today. Reminds me a little bit of Ognis, the Dragon's Lash, although this guy is in Gruul colors. It's 4 mana for a legendary creature. Viashino Warrior, it's a 3/3. And listen, I'm not going through all those hybrid symbols, dude, because that's going to give me a headache. This guy has haste, and whenever a creature you control with haste attacks, create a tapped treasure token. The key difference with the new Samut is that she doesn't specifically require the creature to have haste, only that it entered the battlefield this turn. And you know what that means, buddy. That means ninjas. Well, 3 ninjas in particular, because that's all the ninjas you have in these colors. None of these are very fantastic, but they have the added utility of returning a hasty creature to your hand, and that's reason number 1 you should check out Samut, the 3 ninjas. And reason number 2 is that Samut doesn't specify non-token creatures, so cards like Loyal Apprentice can put in work in a deck like this, making a little thopter. Look at this lady just toiling away to give your commander Christmas presents every turn. You also have cards like Flame Rush Rider, 4 and a red for a creature, human warrior. It's a 3/3. Whenever this idiot attacks, create a token that's a copy of another target attacking creature you control that's tapped and attacking. Exile the token at the end of combat. Has dash for 2 red. So basically if you cast it for its dash cost, gains haste, return from the battlefield to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. There are a million cards like this, so I won't belabor the point. And you can look for some other hasty token producers like the old Skitter Beam Battalion here. The prototype cost is really what you want to do. 3 red for a 2/2. Doesn't sound very good, but it's got trample haste. When it enters the battlefield, if you cast it, create 2 tokens that are copies of it. So for 5 mana, you're getting 3 hasty bodies with trample. Granted, they're 2/2s, but if you're going to lean into hasty bodies, you can get some sweet green Anthems and Overrun effects. And that's reason number 3 to try this sweet Samut. You got green Anthems like Craterhoof. Craterhoof is obviously the best. Look at this big doggo beasting through the forest, dude. This thing is still super pricey. It's $25 or so. But if you're on a budget, you got other cards like the N-Rays Forerunners. 5 green for a creature boar. It's a 7/7 with vigilance, trample, and haste. When this guy enters the battlefield, other creatures you control get +2/+2, gain vigilance and trample until end of turn. These little piggies went to market, and they killed all the people selling the pork rinds, dude. And these things are only 35 cents. And of course, you have the best god in these colors, Xenagos, man. He's giving your creatures a huge boost in power, and if you have some evasive Hasty Flyers out there, this guy's going to get the job done. The God of Gods. This guy just got a reprint. It's like $4 right now, so you might want to capitalize on that, dude. This thing was a $25 card at one point in its history. I love this guy, and he is reason number 4. You have theft cards that can help power through damage. Cards like Molten Primordial, so this guy's got haste. He's 7 mana. He's a creature, he's an avatar, he's a 6/4. When this guy enters the battlefield, for each opponent, gain control of up to 1 target creature that player controls until end of turn. Untap those creatures that gain haste until end of turn. So you won't trigger off the stuff you stole because they didn't enter the battlefield this turn, but you can power through damage on the players now bereft of their blocking creatures. Now in these colors you also have Zealous Conscripts and Coercive Recruiter. These are classic combo cards with our old pal and hasty token producer himself, Kiki-Jiki. Now this guy is very easy to combo with, and he's reason number 5 to try out a Samut deck. So Kiki-Jiki is 2 red for a legendary creature, Goblin Shaman. It's a 2/2 with haste. As tap, create a token that's a copy of target non-legendary creature you control except it has haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. This guy, what a hot mess he is, man, but he's a win condition. I don't know how spicy you want to get with your decks, but I want at least one way to close out the game. You have to be a little careful with this though, because you have to stop the combo when you have enough damage to take everybody out, or you'll draw your deck. Don't go crazy and go, I'm going to make infinite copies, dude. Samut's card draw ability is not a May ability, so keep that in mind. And reason number 6 to run a Samut deck is that you have hasty evasive flyers like Thunder Maw Hellkite. 3 red for a creature dragon, it's a 5/5. Say that with me, dude. Thunder Maw Hellkite, yeah. Has flying and haste. When this guy enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to each creature with flying your opponent's control. Tap those creatures, so you're going to get in for some damage, brother. It's a fantastic card for a Samut deck. And reason number 6.5 is you have some Myriad creatures out there. So Myriad's going to trigger Samut because those tokens are coming in, they're dealing combat damage, they're doing stuff. Like the El Terrell survivors here, man. These guys are just peasants, but don't worry about them because they're going to make stuff happen. They have Trample and Myriad. As long as they're attacking, they get +X/+O, where X is the number of lands defending player controls. I know these guys are peasants, but come on, dude. There's never a game where some fool at the table isn't ramping out of control by turn 4 or 5. These guys will be out there swinging, drawing you cards, making stuff happen, and they're only like 35 cents. And have you ever heard of this guy, the Caller of the Pack? Dude, there's no way this guy isn't blasting through for some damage as an 8/6. I just wanted to highlight this card because it's got some bonkers art, dude. Check out that art, man. Spectral Dogs. And finally, we get to reason number 7, extra combats and double strike. Guess who else combos with Kiki-Jiki, the old combat celebrant? So if you haven't seen this guy before, let me read it for you. 2 and a red for a creature, a human warrior, it's a 4/1. If this guy hasn't been exerted this turn, you may exert it as it attacks. When you do, untap all of the creatures you control after this phase. There's an additional combat phase. Now listen, Samut doesn't care if the creature that entered the battlefield this turn dealt combat damage 10 times or 1 time. You're drawing a card when it deals combat damage, so extra combats are really good. And incidentally, so is Double Strike. This is the perfect deck for the Death Leaper. This is a terror weapon, dude. It's 2 red and a green for a legendary creature. Tyrannid, it's a 3/3 with flash and haste. Flesh Hooks. Creatures you control that enter the battlefield this turn have Double Strike. I like this card because the art is super confusing and I have no idea what I'm looking at. But this can make your threats double nasty, and it's a terror weapon. That's what they say about old Nicky G when he takes his shirt off, brother. Now this is also the perfect deck for our favorite SoundCloud rapper with the facial tattoo. You got Minsk and Boo out there. They're timeless heroes. They're 2 red and a green for a Planeswalker. When this guy enters the battlefield and at the beginning of your upkeep, you may create Boo, a legendary 1/1 red hamster creature token with trample and haste. So it has that +3 +1/+1 counters on up to 1 target creature with trample or haste. So you just put it on Boo, basically. And then the -2 next turn, you can sacrifice it. When you do, Minsk and Boo, timeless heroes, deals X damage to any target, where X is that creature's power. If the sacrificed creature was a hamster, draw X cards. This guy can also be your commander. And making hasty trampling hamsters can be really fun, dude. So listen, man, I just got done playing Baldur's Gate 3, and I got Minsk attacking me out of nowhere, dude. I didn't know what the heck was going on, so I killed him. No mercy. I didn't know he could join your party. I wouldn't have killed him then, man. Anyways, so if you're looking for a casual commander deck with lots of card draw and hasty threats, check out Samut, the old Vizier of Naktamun. It's kind of blown away by how under the radar this card is, but there you go. Looks like a lot of fun. Haste is an underrated ability, especially late game when you're deploying all these threats and immediately banging in. Anyways, man, enjoy the new year. It's Nicky G from Better Commander, signing off.